Welcome to 3.5. 3.5 is just more practice, okay? So I'm gonna write the problems on the board, flicker, flicker, and I want you to pause the video. I know we're 15 seconds in and I'm already asking you to pause, but I do want you to pause the video, take a stab at these, think about them, look at your notes, see if it works, come up with an idea, write it down, and then we'll go through it together. So this first one is a function n, and the domain, what does this p mean again? We talked about that in chapter 2. Its domain is the power set of the set A, B, C, and D. The domain is the set of all possible subsets of this. Remember, the power set will have the empty set, it'll have the whole set, it'll have all the sets with one element, all the subsets with two elements, all the subsets with three elements, all the subsets with four elements. Well, I already said that. All right. And this is really just the cardinality function, right? N of S is just the size or cardinality of S. So is this a function? Well, think of any input. Any input's a set. Is the cardinality thing a function? Does every set just have one size, or can a set have multiple sizes? No, this is a function. The answer is yes, right? You give me any input. What's an input? An input is an element of the power set. What is an element of the power set? An element of a power set is a subset of this guy. So for example, right, n of the set A, B, C, that's one subset. That's an element of the power set. That's just 3. Any set you give me, I'll give you its cardinality here. Each input only has one output. And specifically, also important, right, is that the function works for anything in the domain. So n of the empty set is 0, yeah, and n of the whole set is 4. Yeah, this works on everything and nothing has multiple outputs. So find its range, because the range is not z. Z is the codomain. The integers are the codomain. What is the range? The range is the set of all outputs that actually happen. So the range, well, the empty set has size 0. There's sets with size 1, sets with size 2, sets of size 3, and there is one set of size 4. There are no other subsets of this set. There's no other element of the power set that has a cardinality other than these possibilities. All right, let's look at letter B. Very similar. Now let's not call it N maybe. Let's call it M. Fixed. Let's call it M. M is the function that takes an integer and assigns it to a subset of A, B, C, D, an element of the power set. N of K is the subset or subsets of A, B, C, D with size K. So is this a function? Definitely not. This fails both requirements. First off, not every element in the domain has a function value, right? N of the set containing -1 is the empty set. How many subsets of this, how many elements of the power set of this have size -1? None of them do. There's no output for this input. Okay? And furthermore, the second thing, right? What is the image of this set? Well, that's going to be the set of all subsets that have size 1. So this is a subset that has size 1. This is a subset that has size 1. This and this are also subsets with size 1. We have a set of sets. All right. You with me? If you're not, make a note to yourself, highlight something, write giant question marks, whatever you need to do. You can ask me during office hours, shoot me an email, etc. All right. All right, let's do one more example for this video, and then we'll move on to some other ways of looking at functions. So consider a function g that the input is a YouTube user and the output is that YouTube user's username or usernames if they have multiple. Which one of these things is the domain? Is the domain the set of all people in the world, or is the domain the set of all people with YouTube accounts? Well, notice, all right, hold on, don't want to spoil anything. Let's call this a relation. We're going to be answering whether it's a function later. Okay. Let's call it a relationship right now, relation. Right now, we'll ask later whether it's a function. So which one of these is the domain? Well, if we want a function, so if it's a relation, it's either, but if we want a function, it has to be all people with YouTube accounts. All right, because otherwise there wouldn't be outputs. If someone doesn't have a YouTube account, think of your great-grandmother or whoever. G of your great-grandmother is the empty set. That can be a good burn next time you're at a party and you want to give someone a hard time. G of your grandmother is the empty set. Oh, got him. All right. So if we want a function, right, this needs to be the domain, because to have a function, everything in the domain needs to go somewhere. So find the codomain and the range. So the codomain, that is going to be the set of all possible outputs. That's interesting. So I didn't tell you the codomain. You could define the codomain a lot of things. You could define the codomain as a set of all, valid usernames. I'm pretty sure in YouTube, right, you can't have your YouTube name be like, I don't know, something like this. Right? Like, I don't think YouTube allows all these characters, but it could be the set of all usernames, could be the set of all used usernames. But the more important thing here is the range, right? Codomain could be something else, but the range has a single answer, and the range is all registered YouTube accounts. All registered YouTube usernames that are currently being used. Is G a function? And the answer to that depends on how familiar you are with social media and YouTube in general. But it's no. I wouldn't ask this in a question because maybe someone doesn't really know much about YouTube or internet culture. The idea is that there are many, many people with multiple usernames. For example, take as an input Jason Barnett. Jason Barnett has 3 outputs, 2 of which are actually being used. One is math lectures. The other is something else. I'm not going to go into it now. But yeah, anyway. So it's not a function, right? Because there are people with multiple YouTube accounts. All right, so not a function. One input can have multiple outputs because it's totally fine to have multiple YouTube accounts. And that's probably true for most social media, right? Most social media people have multiple accounts, even if they try to stop that. Let me know if you have any questions. That's more about functions.